Hi, I'm James.
And I'm Laurent, and today we are in beautiful Osaka, Japan.
And we're lucky to be here during the cherry blossom season.
So we started a visit of Osaka by the Osaka Castle, which is a big castle in the middle of a big park right in the middle of the city.
And we were lucky to be there at the perfect time during the blossoming of the cherry trees.
And during the blossoming, the Japanese have this ceremony called Sakura.
So Sakura is the celebration of spring and the blossoming of the cherry trees.
And then once we got inside the castle, there were plenty of street performers, there were lots of people, it was very lively, it was a really nice experience.
Some cherry champagne for the cherry blossom.
So later that night we went to Dotonbori, which is really kind of the cool nightlife part of town with lots of signs and lots of partying going on in the streets and tons of restaurants.
In Dotonbori, you got a lot of street vendors, but you also have a lot of restaurants. And what I really liked is all those cool signs that they had. Crabs and fish and octopus. All those signs were just so wonky.
And if you like karaoke, it was fun to watch people try to sing on the riverboats as they would go under the bridges. It was really festive.
So we ended up going to one of those restaurants and we tried something called yakisoba, which is
so good.
Some noodles from Japan, and then also something that they call okonomiyaki.
It was like a little pancake made of cabbage, egg, and noodles. It was so delicious. It was kind of like benihana, but the real thing. So after Osaka, we took the train to Kyoto. It's just a magical place.
So the first thing we did in Kyoto was to go to that temple called Higashi Hongan-ji. It just happened to be across the street from a hotel. Japan in general is so crowded, there's just so many millions of people that going to Buddhist temple is kind of a way to escape the city and get a little bit of peace and quiet.
We also stayed in a traditional ryokan where we had our own private bath and view onto the garden. We also got a chance to stay in a room that was very traditional with the rice paper panel doors.
And we slept on a mattress on the floor. They had a tatami floor and our mattress was right there and actually wasn't that comfortable. No. My back kind of told me when I woke up the next day. And then after that we went to visit the Imperial Palace, which is the big thing to do in Kyoto.
Kyoto became the capital of Japan in the 12th century, and it was only recently in 1869 that the emperor moved to Tokyo and that became the capital.
The Imperial Palace is located in a big park called Kyoto Gyoen. It's a huge park right in the middle of the city. It's about a mile long by a half a mile wide, and the Imperial Palace is actually taking a good chunk of that park. And then within the Imperial Palace, there was a beautiful Japanese garden.
Just the scenic beauty of these gardens and how they're designed was spectacular, with little bridges and walkways and a lot of water features that reflected the beauty of the garden.
It was the Japanese garden exactly the way you see it in magazines, and it was right in front of us. It was just so beautiful and so quaint. And then we also took the train to go see the Arashiyama neighborhood.
The Katsura River is incredibly beautiful, and it winds and wraps around these very traditional Japanese buildings and incredible cherry blossoms and other beautiful foliage kind of around the river.
There's a lot of ways to boat on the river. You can canoe or you can take some boats. There's actually a river cruise that goes up and down the Katsura River.
And of course, you have to go and see the bamboo forest. I've never seen bamboo so tall.
Yeah, and if you like to see bamboos with a million other tourists with you, this is clearly the place where you gotta go.
Yeah, for sure.
Then after the bamboo forest, we went to the Teryuji Temple. We actually didn't go inside the temple, we just went to the gardens. And here again, they were beautiful gardens.
I have to say that those are some of the most beautiful Japanese gardens I've ever seen because it's on multiple levels. You kind of walk up and down these hills and you get this incredible view from the top of the hill looking down and then looking up from the bottom. It's just amazing.
And of course, the cherry trees were blossoming, but in addition to the cherry trees, there were plenty of other flowers. It was spring over there, and just all those flowers were so beautiful.
Even the manhole covers are beautiful in Japan.
And then on the next day, we took the train to Nara.
Nara used to be the capital city as well, but it moved to Kyoto in the 8th century. It's also a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of all the temples and monuments.
So we first started with a site called Kofukuji, which has several temples.
And a beautiful 5-storied pagoda.
That pagoda was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And one of the great attractions in Nara are the Sika deer. There's more than 1,000 of them that are roaming around freely around the city.
And the street vendors sell deer crackers, and they've learned to bow in order to get food. They're pretty tame and you can easily pet them.
But there's that sign that tells you that they're still wild animals and they can be unpredictable sometimes.
But the big thing to do in Nara is go to the Dotonbori Temple. It's the largest bronze statue of a Buddha in the world.
It is a huge statue. It's 50 feet tall, that's 15 meters, and it is just huge. It's very, very impressive.
Even the statues around the Buddha are enormous.
That temple was built in the 8th century when Nara was the capital of Japan, and 2.6 million people participated in the construction of that temple, either directly or indirectly.
There are 2 smaller Buddhas on each side of the main Buddha, as well as 2 guardian soldiers. We just love the wooden structure and the huge pillars.
And one of the pillars is hollow, and one of the big tourist attractions is to try to go through the hole, which little kids can easily do, but even some adults try to do this. I'm not sure that Buddha would appreciate of
No.
tourists doing that. Then the other big thing to do in Nara is to go up to the Nigatsu-Do Temple.
It's on top of a hill with some incredible views of the city below. We also saw a lot of people washing their hands in these beautiful ornate fountains before going in to pray at the temples.
Actually, I especially liked looking at all the roofs of the building underneath. I really love those Japanese roofs. You gotta be prepared to do a lot of walking around in Nara because those temples are not close to each other and there's just so much to see.
We really lucked out with the weather. It was just beautiful every day, and to see the cherry blossoms in full bloom along with all the other flowers and trees, it was just spectacular. And the gardens are a big part of the architecture, so they really make the buildings look even more beautiful when everything's in bloom. So very unexpectedly, as we were walking down the main street, we saw an owl cafe.
I had heard of it, but I had never seen one.
There are 15 different kinds of owls in this cafe.
And the great thing about it is that we could actually pet them. Their feathers are so soft.
And there was also a small falcon. He was really cute, but much smaller than the owls.
And we got a chance to hold them on our arms on that big gloves, and it was amazing.
It was incredible. That was so amazing. Wow, the head almost turns all the way around.
Yeah.
Give it to Laura. Yeah.
これをどうするかな。
So cool.
Yeah.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
Camera's making him nervous.
So we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did,
Give it a big thumbs up
and put your comments.
in the comment section below.
And if you want to subscribe to our channel, we are going to put a link right here.
And if you want to receive notifications, be sure to click the bell.
And if you want to watch our other videos, we're going to put one right here and another one right there.
Bye.
Bye.